All right, so I'm going to go into what I had decided to go live about today, which is to talk about why we tend to hate our voices when they're recorded. So this is just going to be a really short one. So in my post about this, I shared my experience, which is that I, as a kid, thought I was the best singer ever and very full of myself, and would just sing all the time, anytime. Anyone who was vaguely willing to listen, I would be letting it out, trying to show off. But when I was about 14, at my high school, which was Ogilvie High School here in Hobart, they got some recording equipment. So that was very exciting. So I had my first experience of recording myself while singing. I think I was singing and playing guitar. And on hearing the recording, I was so surprised and shocked by what I sounded like on the recording that I was like quite traumatized, and I was like, I'm never singing again. This is horrible. I remember like complaining to my friends about it excessively, and one of my friends said, it's fine, you can just be one of those performers who doesn't really record and just performs live. But it was so challenging to hear myself recorded. So why do we have this experience? Why do we get so shocked by what we sound like when we hear ourselves recorded, especially for the first time? So somebody in my stories mentioned bone conduction. So what that means is when we are speaking or singing, we hear not only the sound, the vibration that's coming out of our mouth, we also hear a bunch of vibrations that go through our skull. So the kinds of frequencies, little parts of the sound that go well through stuff are the lower frequencies. So lower frequencies are what give our voice a darker, weightier quality.
And higher frequencies are what give our voice a brighter kind of quality,
and you can combine varying levels and varying kinds of those frequencies through your technique. But yeah, so when we are making sound in the moment, we not only hear the sounds that are coming out of our mouth, we also hear some of those lower frequencies that come through our head. And so we tend to feel that our voices are lower and warmer and richer than they actually are when they are heard externally. So I might think that I sound really rich and cool like this,
but as soon as I hear myself recorded, I think that I sound like Mickey Mouse.
And it's really confronting to hear your voice like that. There's a cognitive dissonance aspect to this, right? So we have an expectation. We've spent a lot more hours hearing ourselves speaking and singing just while we're doing it than we have hearing ourselves recorded. So when we hear ourselves recorded, especially for the first time, we have this expectation that's been built up from how we hear it internally, and then that is confronted by this new reality of what it actually sounds like externally, and so you get that really intense emotional reaction to that. Also keep in mind that you are going to be the most critical of your own voice out of everyone. Just like you're the most critical of your own face when you see yourself in the mirror, you're also going to be the most critical person of the way that you sound. And probably other people, just keep this in mind, other people are not going to have the same emotional reaction to hearing your voice that you do. They don't have that established sense of what your voice sounds like that you've had from hearing it internally. They don't have that. So it just, this cognitive dissonance from your expectation to the reality is going to make it a more extreme experience to hear that like difference in your sound. The other thing to keep in mind, I think that my this might run out in a second. I think my phone's about to do something stupid, so forgive me if I suddenly disappear. But the other thing to keep in mind is the microphone and speaker quality. So the microphone that you are recording yourself on and the way that you are then listening back. If you're using your phone mic and you're listening to yourself back on your phone speaker, or even on your little like iPhone AirPods, it's not going to be a great sound quality. And then if you're comparing that the last piece is comparing yourself, your voice, to the voices of the people that you hear either on your podcasts, your audiobooks, or on the radio, the music that you listen to. It's not a good comparison to make. If people are professionally podcasting, professionals on the radio, professional musicians recording with professional equipment, they have amazing quality microphones. I have a pretty decent one here. They have not only the microphone itself, but also all of the engineering, all of the technology that goes into getting the mix just right, adjusting all those frequencies to make it sound just so. So not only the good microphone quality, but also the technology that goes into making the sound great. So you might have, of course, auto-tune, but also all of the other production, mixing, mastering, and that kind of thing that goes into creating the music that you hear on the radio or on Spotify or on your CDs or your records. So my suggestion is to not compare yourself to the music that you hear, because there's a lot more that goes into making those voices sound good. And I guarantee you, your favorite singers, when they heard themselves recorded for the first time, they also probably hated it. And then the last piece is just to say that as you do this more, as you use your voice more and get used to the feeling of using your voice and develop vocal technique control, and the more that you record yourself and listen back, what you think you sound like and what you actually sound like come closer together. So now, these days, when I hear myself recorded, whether it's speaking or singing, I sometimes get surprised by my speaking voice, but not pretty much ever my singing voice. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought I sounded like at the time. It's like my perception has shifted, and I know what to expect because I have done that much recording of myself that it's just not a surprise anymore. So yeah, that's my little live for today. I hope that was informative for you. I go into this in a lot more detail in my online course, which is called Secret Singing Lessons. That's launching soon. Of course, I will post a lot more information about that when that's happening. If you're interested in getting on my mailing list, feel free to DM me and send me your email, and I will pop you on there. I've got a free resource coming soon for all the people on my mailing list, so let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and be kind to yourself when you're listening to your own voice. Okay, bye.